January 17, 2026. Along the Mexico-US border, cities like Ciudad Juarez, Tijuana, and Matamoros are overwhelmed. These cities, long familiar with migration, now face a humanitarian crisis that's pushed them past their limits. Shelters, hospitals, and social services are buckling under the weight of thousands of new arrivals. In desperation, city leaders have declared local emergencies, a formal plea for help. This isn't about politics or numbers. It's about people. A mother fleeing gangs in Honduras, a nurse in Tijuana working double shifts, families stranded in limbo. The safety nets have torn. People are falling through the cracks. Migrants find the border is not a gateway but a wall, hope colliding with harsh reality. Overcrowded shelters and streets are now home to those who believed the doors to America were open. Local residents, too, are feeling the strain as resources dwindle and daily life is upended. These cities are the first responders to a global crisis, but they can't do it alone. The emergency declarations are a warning. The system has failed, and the burden is too great. This is a human drama unfolding in real time, a plea for compassion and shared responsibility. The world is being asked to look beyond headlines and see the faces of those caught in the middle. When promises are broken and systems collapse, it's these cities and the people within them who pay the price. When a city declares a local emergency, it's admitting it can't cope alone. This isn't martial law. It's a tool to unlock emergency funds and cut through red tape. City leaders are raising a red flag. Resources are gone, and help is needed now. The declaration allows rapid conversion of public spaces into shelters and speeds up the purchase of essentials. It's about survival, reacting with the urgency the crisis demands. Residents see the effects everywhere: crowded hospitals, overwhelmed social services, and stretched public resources. These cities already faced challenges. Now they're in an impossible situation. Declaring an emergency is a last resort, a public admission of vulnerability, but also responsibility. Leaders are trying to protect both locals and migrants, bringing order to chaos. It's a desperate attempt to provide dignity and care when normal systems have failed. The declaration is a city's SOS, demanding the world pay attention to the unfolding human tragedy. It's not just a label, it's a lifeline. The hope is that someone, somewhere, will answer the call. The surge overwhelming Mexican border cities is the result of U.S. immigration policy whiplash. Shifting rules, like the CBP-1 app's abrupt end and new asylum bans, created confusion and panic. Migrants, desperate and misinformed, rushed to the border, believing narrow windows of opportunity were closing. Policy changes in Washington triggered mass movements, overwhelming cities unprepared for such numbers. The crisis didn't disappear. It shifted south, trapping thousands in Mexico. Emergency declarations are a direct result of these policy shifts. The human cost is real: families stranded, women and children left in limbo. Decisions made far away have life or death consequences on the border. U.S. policy may dictate timing, but the reasons people flee run deeper. Economic collapse, political repression, and violence in countries like Venezuela and Haiti force families to run for their lives. Women and girls face gender-based violence, exploitation, and threats from gangs. Climate change, hurricanes, droughts, failed crops, pushes families off their land. Each migrant has a breaking point, a threat, hunger, or disaster that left no other choice. The crisis at the border is the visible tip of overlapping catastrophes. These are not opportunists. They are survivors with nowhere else to turn. Smugglers, or coyotes, thrive in chaos, spreading misinformation for profit. They promise guaranteed entry, exploiting migrants' desperation and confusion. Policy changes become marketing tools, triggering panicked rushes to the border. The journey is perilous. Women and girls face assault, extortion, and trafficking. Smugglers' lies weaponize hope, turning migrants into pawns in a dangerous game. The result? Chaos, overcrowding, and suffering in border cities. These criminal networks grow stronger with every new restriction and layer of confusion. While governments debate, smugglers profit from misery. Their influence is a hidden force driving the crisis. The most vulnerable pay the highest price. The crisis is as much about deception as it is about desperation. Border city infrastructure is at a breaking point. Shelters are packed beyond capacity. People sleep on floors, in hallways, even outside. These were never meant for long-term stays or such immense crowds. Hospitals are overwhelmed with patients, dehydration, illness, injuries from the journey. Supplies are running low, staff are exhausted. Overcrowded camps and shelters are breeding grounds for disease. Social services for women and children are stretched thin, serving both locals and migrants. Local leaders call for urgent, coordinated action, not just money, but real solutions. The overflowing shelters and buckling hospitals are the most visible signs of a system in collapse. The crisis is no longer just about migration. It's a public health emergency. The weight is unsustainable. Women and girls bear the brunt of this crisis. Many arrive pregnant or alone with children, fleeing violence and exploitation. Shelters meant to offer safety often expose them to new dangers: overcrowding, lack of privacy, risk of assault. Traffickers prey on the vulnerable, while mothers fear for their children's safety. Local women also feel the strain: longer clinic waits, stretched food banks, rising housing costs. The crisis pits vulnerable groups against each other, straining community bonds. Yet, resilience shines through. Migrant mothers create makeshift schools. Local women volunteer in shelters. Their courage and solidarity hold communities together. Their stories are about survival, strength, and hope for a better future. Emergency declarations in border cities are a warning to the world. Shifting responsibility and closing borders only move the crisis, deepening human suffering. These cities demand shared responsibility and direct support for those on the front lines. What's happening here is a preview of future crises, as instability and climate change drive displacement. Overflowing shelters and makeshift camps reveal our failure to manage migration with dignity. This is not a distant problem. Its effects ripple globally. The cries for help test our collective conscience. We must listen and act before the crisis worsens. Amid crisis, stories of resilience emerge. Migrant mothers comforting children, local volunteers offering help. But resilience shouldn't excuse inaction. The strength of these women is not a solution to a broken system. Emergency declarations demand accountability and humane, efficient asylum processing. True progress centers the dignity and safety of women and girls, secure shelters, medical care, legal aid. Support must also reach local women, ensuring their needs aren't forgotten. Compassion means lifting up all women, recognizing their fates are intertwined. The border crisis is a moral challenge. Will we build higher walls or protect the vulnerable? Women on the front lines have shown the power of solidarity. Now, leaders must follow their example and replace deterrence with dignity. The time for action is now.